welcome into this week's edition of the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below and hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from R&N. On today's edition of the Cup Rewind, we're looking back at Sunday's 14th annual AAA Texas 500. 337 laps, just a skosh into overtime, 505.5 miles around the 1.5-mile Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas. 8 caution flags on the day for a total of 37 laps. Nothing really happening incident-wise in stage number 1. We had a competition caution at lap 32. Some rain moved through late Saturday night into Sunday morning in the Fort Worth area, so there wasn't a lot of grip on the track. All the rubber had gotten washed off from the weekend, so I just want to make sure tire wear and everything was up to where it was supposed to be. Stage 1 ended at lap 85. Kevin Harvick would be your Stage 1 winner. Only one incident in Stage number 2 that happened at lap 98 as the teammates of William Byron and Jimmy Johnson got together in turn number 3. Johnson got just a bit loose, slid up the track. Byron, with nowhere to go, got into the back of Johnson and then slid up into the wall. Stage 2 concluded at lap 170. Kevin Harvick would also take stage number 2. Stage 3 is where things started to get a little crazy. We got more incidents in stage number 3. Lap 226 would be the first one as Daniel Suarez got into the wall in turn number 2 after blowing a right front tire. Lap 298, the 97 of David Starr spun in turn 2, caught the inside wall. Lap 307, an incident on the backstretch between the 43 of Bubba Wallace, the 37 of Chris Buescher, and the 32 of Matt DiBenedetto. And final caution of the day, this is what sent us into overtime. At lap 332, the 19 of Daniel Suarez again involved in this one, along with the 51 of Joey Gase and the 47 of AJ Allmendinger, all getting collected in turn number 2. 16 lead changes on the day among 7 drivers. Kevin Harvick totally led the most laps in this race. Wasn't even close. 177 of the 337 total laps were led by Kevin Harvick. 54 laps went to Joey Logano. 50 laps were led by his teammate Brad Keselowski. 40 laps went to the third Team Penske car of Ryan Blaney. 11 laps were led by Jimmy Johnson. 3 laps went to Alex Bowman. And 2 laps were led by Bubba Wallace. All right, let's get into your results for the AAA Texas 500. He won both stages, led far and away the most laps in this race, so I don't think it is a surprise that Kevin Harvick would be your winner in this race. His 8th win of the season, 45th of his career. Kevin Harvick is just having an outstanding season and has punched his ticket into the championship along with Joey Logano in a couple weeks. So we have 2 of our drivers figured out that are going to be in the championship now. 2 spots remaining for that. Ryan Blaney had probably the second best car on the day, gave Kevin a pretty good run there at the end. Actually took the lead on the next to last restart there at lap 310, but Harvick was able to just power his way back by Blaney. And then on the final restart, just wasn't even close. Harvick takes the lead, sails away in overtime, and Blaney just really couldn't do anything. Joey Logano came home in the 3rd position. Eric Jones with a strong 4th place finish, and Kyle Larson rounded out the top 5. Rest of your top 10 were Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch, Eric Almirola, Martin Truex Jr., and Austin Dillon. 11th through 20th, Brad Keselowski, after leading 50 laps on the day, settled for a 12th place finish. We see 3 Hendrick Motorsports teammates down here in a row, with Alex Bowman in 14th, Jimmy Johnson 15th, and William Byron in 16th. Kyle Busch had a very off day, had multiple problems on the day, ended up a lap down or multiple laps down for most of the day until finally getting the free pass to get back on the lead lap for that overtime restart. But then because he had the free pass, he had to start at the tail end of the field and was not able to get back up there to gain any more spots. So 17th would be where Kyle Busch landed on the day, last car on the lead lap. 21st through 30th, Trevor Bayne, his final race in the 6th car, came home in the 21st position, was running up in the top 10 at one point during the day, had some speed. Unfortunately, luck did not go his way. 2 laps down in 21st would be where Trevor Bayne lands in this one. Bubba Wallace came home in the 25th position. Clint Bowyer, just from the drop of the green flag, literally just did not have luck on his side in this race. Started in second, and then in turn 1 gets loose, gets up into Denny Hamlin. They both end up with flat tires from the incident. They both end up 2 to 3 laps down after that, and neither one of them could ever battle their way back from that incident. Clint came home in 26th, and Denny down here in the 30th position. We also see Daniel Suarez here in 28th. We talked about his 2 incidents on the day. Not a good day for Daniel Suarez. Final page, 31st through 40th. Most of these drivers getting caught up in incidents at one point or another throughout the day, or what have you, just multiple laps down for all of these cars. That's your results from the AAA Texas 500, so let's head over to the Media Center. We'll see what Kevin and your other top finishers on the day had to say after this one.
Yeah, I figured he wouldn't make that move 3 times. We almost cleared him the first restart up top, and then I did the second one, and I figured he'd take the top. And the 42 gave me a heck of a push, but I didn't quite get far enough ahead of the 4 into 1. If we would have went in there and he was kind of on my right rear, I would have been okay. But we went in side by side, and if I sailed it off in there as fast as he did, I would have just got loose and wrecked us both. So you kind of knew you're beat getting into 1 when you're there, because you know the guy on the outside is going to pin you. But, I figured when he took the top, it was going to take a really big push and a good position into 1 to have a prayer at it. It just didn't happen.
I feel better about Phoenix than I did about today, for sure. So, we'll see. I don't know until we get there, but tough spot to be in. But ultimately, you gotta be in a must-win situation at Homestead if you ever make it down there. So you might as well get used to it and like it.
Well, you never want to lose those types of days. Obviously Blaney had a good restart, and we were able to get back by him, and at that particular point, I was like, we're not taking the bottom anymore. We're going to take the top and see what happens. And obviously, it worked out a little bit better. Having the offense there of being on the outside and the side draft. After you get past the start-finish line, and it's nice to see the second groove was rubbered up as much as it was, and so it's wound up making the pass on the top there. So, for whatever reason. We've run well on the old style racetrack and the new style racetrack, since I've been at Stewart-Haas Racing. But for whatever reason, since they've repaved the place, it's just been lights out for us. I feel like we could have won every race here with the new pavement. So it's been interesting to see how it's changed and how much it's kind of come around to the things that we do with our cars. And today was one of those days that just was there with the speed, but everybody executed well, whether it was on pit road or the pit box, or late there with the restarts, and made it happen. So it's a good time of year to have all that come around.
All right, let's take a look at your playoff grid before wrapping up here tonight. As we can see, obviously Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick locked into that championship for now. Logano won last week in Martinsville. Kevin Harvick punching his ticket this week after winning in Texas. One more spot available off a win next week in Phoenix, and then at least one driver will get in on points, depending on if one of these other 6 drivers wins at Phoenix or not. Looking at what we have right now, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr. are the 2 that are in on points heading into Phoenix. Truex stayed stationary with the cutoff this week. He came in leading Kurt Busch by 25 points. He left leading by 25 points. Kyle, on the other hand, lost 18 points on that cutoff line this week, and now only sits 28 points to the good over the cutoff line. 28 points seems like a lot, and it is to an extent, but when you factor in the possibility of stage points and the fact that Kurt could go out and win both stages, and all of a sudden he's gained 20 points, not even figuring in where he finishes in the race, and all of a sudden he might have erased most of that gap, depending on what Kyle and Martin do with stage finishes. So 28 and 25 points does seem like a good cushion, and it is to an extent. It just depends on what Kurt does with his stage finishes. It'll be interesting to see how Phoenix goes. Phoenix is a pretty good track for Kurt overall. Not his best track, but not his worst track either. So we'll see how that works out. But then you've got these other three guys down here, Chase Elliott, and then your other two Stewart-Haas cars down here in Eric Almirola and Clint Bowyer. Must-win situations for all of them. 39 points the gap for Chase Elliott. Mathematically, he can point his way in. Realistically, I don't see it happening without a win. Same thing for Eric Almirola. He is sitting down here a good chunk back here. He and Clint Bowyer, there is no way around it. Chase Elliott, Eric Almirola, Clint Bowyer, all in must-win situations at Phoenix. And in saying that, I don't know that I see any of them winning at Phoenix. I think Chase probably has the best chance out of any of them to win at Phoenix, but I don't see it happening. I think it's going to be tough for any of these guys in this bottom four to make their way into the championship four at this point. I really think we have a championship four set at this point. I could be surprised at Phoenix, but I don't see it happening. I think right now we have our championship four figured out. I think it's Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., and Joey Logano. Unless something really crazy off the wall happens at Phoenix, I think that's your championship four, and I think these are the four we need to be looking at right now as who's going to win the championship among these four at Homestead. Like I said, things can change at Phoenix. This is why we run the races, because we don't know what's going to happen. But I think looking at realistically what can happen at Phoenix, I think that's your championship four. I'm hoping for a surprise. I would like to see something change here. I don't want to see this set one race early, but I think that's what we've got here. I think we've got our championship four right now. So we'll see what happens at Phoenix. Again, that's why we run the races, because we don't know what's going to happen. But I think realistically, it's going to be tough for any of these guys, Kurt Busch, Chase Elliott, Eric Almirola, or Clint Bowyer, where they sit right now, to make their way into that championship four, whether it be pointing their way in or winning their way in. I think it's going to be very tough for any of them. But that's your playoff grid following the AAA Texas 500 with 2 races remaining in the 2018 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series season. And I believe that will do it for us tonight here on the Cup Series Rewind. We had an Xfinity Rewind go up last night for their race in Texas. So if you haven't seen that already, go check it out. Link is down below in the description. Pole position, as usual, coming up tomorrow evening, Monday, 8 p.m. to recap all 3 Texas races very quickly for you if you missed anything over the weekend. And of course, our 100 subscriber giveaway announcement is linked down below in the description. We're still slowly working our way to that point, but we've got to hit 100 subscribers before we do that giveaway. So if you haven't seen it yet, like I said, it's linked down below in the description. Go check it out. All the rules, details, what we're giving away is talked about in that video. It is a really, really cool, one-of-a-kind piece of Venturini Motorsports memorabilia that I think you will definitely want a chance at winning. So go check that out. Link is down below in the description. I believe at the time of this recording, we're at 93 subscribers. So we're getting close. We're inching our way there, but we need your help to do it. So if you're not subscribed already, go down below and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell while you're there for notifications so you don't miss anything going forward from RNN. But if you are already subscribed, refer a friend, refer a family member, whatever you got to do to get us to that 100 subscriber mark so that you have a chance to win that really, really cool piece of Venturini Motorsports memorabilia. Now, while you're down there, why don't you hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It's much appreciated when you do, and it helps us out a ton. But I believe that is it. So at that, this has been the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Rewind show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.